The reason I'm at home on house arrest right now dates back to when I was 16 years old when I walked into Merrill Lynch after I worked at Woolworths at Metcalf South with stories about Woolworths, a member of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, getting told that I can't walk into Merrill Lynch, a business open to the public that I was a stock owner of and had a trust account in, getting told they kill people and all the games they play, and really just because, I mean, the thing that really sticks out is just because you own the company doesn't mean you get a paycheck. You're no different than everybody else. We don't let just anybody do it. You don't know anything about economics. Well, I was smart in math, 98% on the ACT in math, made me a Kansas scholar in math and science. And, there are people smarter than me, a few people. If I get 96% on the ACT, that means I'm better than 96 out of 100, and 4 out of 100, or 3 or 4 out of 100 are better than me. But the issue right now is my house arrest dates back to the harassment that went on personally against myself at Merrill Lynch before college and Payne Weber and Smith Barney, and then after college when I got my master's. I went to Oklahoma State, got my BS in mechanical engineering in 4 years. I went to Oklahoma State, got an A in econ first semester as a Beta Theta Pi pledge, which was known to have the worst hazing of any fraternity at Oklahoma State. I knew nothing about it beforehand, but after I joined it, and my father was a Beta Theta Pi at the University of Pennsylvania and other relatives, so I joined the Betas and went through probably, they said, the worst hazing they had at Oklahoma State. And I also passed engineering first semester, taking engineering, calc, econ, chemistry, and different classes that most people couldn't pass their senior year as their most difficult class. I not only passed them and did it while getting hazed till 3 or 4 a.m. almost every night of the week for a semester and a half. So when people sit there and say, I didn't get good enough grade point, I don't think that the people who say that themselves could pass the first semester of engineering at Oklahoma State on a cakewalk, let alone as a Beta Theta Pi pledge getting hazed the way I did. And I earned the degree in 4 years. I think it's documented how many people actually graduated when I did, how many people started the first day of class, first semester, 1,000 or 2, maybe less than 50 to 100 graduated. And I did it in 4 years because of the people who graduated, maybe less than half of them did it in 4 years. I earned my BS in mechanical engineering at Oklahoma State in 4 years. I witnessed the fraud that went on with transcript fraud, going into the computer transcript room, people changing their own grades to make them better, other people's grades worse, sabotaging group projects, screwing around. So as far as I'm concerned, the GPA issue of me not having a high enough GPA for some punks who could never come close to getting it, you could never get it, come close. I'm not going to lie about my GPA being below 3.0, but I took classes you couldn't pass in your wildest dreams. And of course, the issue of going to school to compete for GPA, or do you go to school to do something, to think, to learn how to think, as I was told, to do something, not just take a bunch of dumbass, easy, meaningless classes to get straight A's. Well, that's what I did. I didn't go take a bunch of PUD, easy, meaningless classes to get straight A's, like some people did, and that's what it is. So I then got 93% on GMAT. I took the GMAT more than once. My highest score was 93%. If you want to point out my lowest score, go ahead. I'll point out my highest score. 93% was at or above the average of every top 20 school listed in Barron's Guide to Top MBA Schools, except for MIT. I think MIT's average GMAT was maybe 1% higher than 93. But every other school listed, Harvard, Northwestern, Chicago, Stanford, Texas, they were 93 or below. I went to Purdue Krannert. He was ranked number 4 public, top 10 public. In Barron's Guide, it would have been ranked number 13 overall, the top 20 in that ranking, if you combine the 10 private and 10 public and their scores. And Purdue Krannert, during orientation, Moskowitz, the professor, I guess the dean or whatever, showed Purdue ranked number 3 in the country in Fortune magazine. So there are different polls that say different things every year. But unquestionably, no doubt that Krannert was ranked as good as any school in the country, simply as good as it gets, as I established. I graduated in 2 years from Krannert, 2-year master's degree, Master of Science. And there was sabotaging of projects in school, and the whole issue of what they were teaching, of the crap they were teaching, maximizing stockowner value is the purpose of the corporation. Well, anybody who's ever worked a day in their life and owned stock knows that's a bunch of bullshit. Because I've been reading proxy statements of Wall Street Journal and Fortune magazine since I was, a teenager, and I already knew maximizing stockowner value was bullshit. People say that we don't maximize stockowner value, which is true. What does it mean to maximize stockowner value? Well, simply put, maximize revenue, minimize expense equals maximizing profit. My experience was just because you own the company doesn't mean you get a paycheck. Just because you're a stock owner doesn't mean a goddamn thing. Just because you're a stock owner, well, you see, it goes back and forth. Sometimes they say, like at Smith Barney, we own stock, we do whatever we want to. Well, we don't maximize stock owner value, which is true. They don't maximize stock owner value. They don't work for free, and I don't work for free. So all those little intricate equations and this theory that the purpose of a corporation is to maximize the value of its stock, well, come to reality. Anybody who's worked and owns stock knows it's bullshit. And so, if you want to talk about what's the difference between you and everybody else, well, I think standardized test scores exhibit that. And there's fraud with that, just like there's fraud with GPA and degrees and identity theft, and there's fraud in every way and every issue you want to discuss. But my own personal experience is, I don't work for damn free, and I got the degrees I got in order to, one, do something, and to strengthen my brain, exercise, think. It's like going to the gym and lifting weights makes you stronger. Engineering makes your brain stronger and smarter. And, what's the difference between you and everybody else? What have you ever done? Well, I did everything it took to earn the degrees. I'm not going to claim I just did what it took to earn the degrees. Something most people could never dream of doing. What have I ever done? And what's the difference between me is, well, my genius IQ score, I think, and my degrees exhibit what's the difference between me and everybody else. And maximizing stock owner value, well, like the lawyer from Merrill Lynch one time, Gordon Gee was this guy's name. I remember, never forget this jackass. With some little girl laughing at me while I was in chains and a jail uniform. He was saying that I cost Merrill Lynch money because they were scared of me and had to hire security guards. And, of course, I replied while I was locked in chains and the judge is sitting there and I'm in jail, white and blue uniform with chains on. So, well, you know what? I've owned the company as a stock owner. They cost me revenue. And the chairman gets paid millions while they're complaining about a $7 or $8 expense I cost them. And, of course, some little girl sitting there laughing, probably with a little baby accounting degree who could never pass engineering. And I got locked up. And this has gone on since '85, 10 or 20 times. At Merrill Lynch, Smith, Barney, and Payne Webber, these little faggot punks make up stories, and the judges lock me up. Because I think they're all inferior in every facet of the human existence of myself. And they have me in chains, and they just torture me and fuck me up, which is unacceptable. And it's going to, it's unacceptable in every facet of the legal system. Just shows the legal system's a crock of shit and a joke controlled by jokes. So, maximize stock owner value, just a bunch of shit they make up to test you on as far as I'm concerned. And to theorize the purpose of a corporation, well, it's bullshit, and I don't work for free. And precedents are established with paycheck, business licenses granted to individuals such as Stowers at American Century, 20th Century in Kansas City, inferior to me with a license and perhaps a billionaire. There's so many people inferior to me with a business license, paycheck, and wealth that I'm not allowed to do since I was 23 with my master's or 16 with my Kansas Scholar designation. Complete bullshit in every fucking way you think about it. And that's just the way it is in Kansas City and Kansas. And I've been to Wall Street. I've been to California to see Mike Milken. He wouldn't talk to me when he was the king of the junk bonds. I walked in there when I was in California one time when I left Kansas, got in my car and drove out of Kansas because I was sick of the goddamn bullshit, get locked up. Told my degrees don't matter by these Nazi mental health workers. Because when they throw me in jail, they stick me in mental hospital, Osawatomie, Rainbow, Johnson County Mental Health. These little idiot doctors, most of them foreigners with their cool guy haircuts or acting cool, they all say my degrees don't matter. I don't own stock. I just think I own stock. When I prove I own stock, they own more than me and laugh about it. Well, the issue of owning stock in Merrill Lynch is nobody owns 1%. And so to think that they own the company and I don't, well, if you own stock, you own stock. If you own 51%, you own 51%. But like most companies, big companies like Merrill Lynch or whatever, there's probably no individual that owns 51% to control the ownership. So that issue is ridiculous. And the fact they have a business license and the individuals in there who are fucking with me and accusing me of crimes and locking me up, it's just complete bullshit any way you look at it. That's the way it's always been. So maximizing stock owner value, accounting one, the stock owners on the company. Well, it really doesn't matter in Kansas. It never did. Probably never will. At least not with me. I guess because I'm superior to the individuals And I've heard him say, well, this guy's not very smart, but he owns stock, and he's got every legal right of a stock owner. With me, well, it doesn't matter if you own stock. It only matters if you own 51%. It's just one thing after another, one bullshit thing after another. One time this, one time that. The other thing that really pisses me off was the efficient market theory I was taught at Purdue in expected study, that it's impossible statistically for an individual to outperform the S&P 500 broad stock market averages, so you really shouldn't try, and it's just a bunch of waste of time. Well, that's bullshit, taught by Wilbur Llewellyn was this guy's name at Purdue. He had a PhD from MIT, I think I saw. And he just got up there and told all his capital budgeting, cost of capital, maximize stock owner value, can't make money in the stock market, the efficient market theory. Well,